The real Sean McDermott era starts now. Hey Bills Mafia, welcome to my channel, Bills News Consolidated. Today's video, we need to digest Al Holcomb of the Buffalo Bills, new defensive assistant, really taking over for Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott. I did my research. There's some facts that we can take a look at. Al Holcomb spending 5 seasons in Carolina with Sean McDermott. Taking a look at their overall ranked defense during that time, they averaged roughly the 13th best defense in the NFL. Taking a look at Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott over the past 5 seasons, we could say that they improved because statistically they ranked 8th overall in the NFL. So is there a concern that the Buffalo Bills having to move on this season from Leslie Frazier? But I think there are some good things that we got to take a look at in this video. Leslie Frazier, his deficiencies last year really not dictating to opposing teams. This defense should be capable of dictating to opposing offenses. And too often did the Buffalo Bills just get too complacent. We sat back and didn't dictate, especially in the playoffs when critical moments were there against the Kansas City Chiefs in the 13 seconds or the Cincinnati Bengals. We should have been trying to dictate to opposing teams. We saw it last year. Other defenses like Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers dictating to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills by double covering Diggs and bracketing Diggs and putting their best corner on Gabe Davis and other targets, right? Also, the Chiefs are known to have the best defense in the NFL, but they have a great defensive mind in Chuck Pagano, who just comes up with creative stuff on a week-to-week basis, but he comes up with things that dictate to opposing offenses. Blitzing Josh Allen. Who would have thought Chuck Pagano starts blitzing Josh Allen? Not every down, but sparingly, just enough to dictate and confuse the Buffalo Bills offensively. So what do the Buffalo Bills want to do? What is this new Sean McDermott era going to look like? And I believe it is going to be more aggressive. We are going to try to dictate to offenses a lot more. And then you take a look during the time of Sean McDermott and the Carolina Panthers. All the players that came in and all the players that came out, we could see that there were certain positions that they cherished continuity, that they had players solidified there for years. In other positions, they kind of worked and they brought players in, they brought players out. And one of the positions that was solidified for the Carolina Panthers was linebacker. Linebacker position with Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis and Shaq Thompson. These guys were dominant forces. And you go back to the Carolina Panthers. Yes, they had Cam Newton and a great offense, these tall wide receivers. They could run the ball, right? But the fact is that defense was punishable. And people feared Luke Kuechly. People feared those linebackers and the damage that could be brought. And that's what the Buffalo Bills defense has been missing. You know, we're not getting the potential of the players on this team. We have not been getting the most of Tremaine Edmonds. We have not been getting the most of Matt Milano in this defensive line. And knowing that we've spent so much money on this defensive line to allow guys like linebackers to fly around the field and make plays, we're just not making enough plays. We're not making enough plays. Luke Kuechly coming away from a season with 3 interceptions and 3 sacks and 3 fumble recoveries. That is the damage that needs to be done from these linebackers. 4-3 defense, Sean McDermott. And this defense is punishable. We need to penetrate. That's what a 4-3 defense does, right? We have some benefits to this scheme. We have some benefits to Sean McDermott's way here. It's not a 3-4 defense. We have to take advantage of those things. Getting after the quarterback, having those 4 defensive linemen, getting after things, making plays in the backfield. That's what we need to get back to. So again, Al Holcomb being a linebacker coach, coming back with Sean McDermott, I think is absolutely huge. You know, the debate is still there whether Sean McDermott is going to call plays or Al Holcomb is going to call plays. But what is our advantage? You know, our advantage is that we have a defensive-minded head coach in Sean McDermott. He knows how to win. He knows how to get to the Super Bowl, and we have to rely on that. We see it. These offenses, even last year, Andy Reid even coming up with plays, you know, calling and scheming things as a head coach. That's what you need. That's what we need. And I don't blame Sean McDermott for coming here, trying to develop himself as a head coach, to prove himself as a head coach and not a defensive coordinator. And he proved it. I mean, Sean McDermott is a great head coach. He knows how to, just everything. He's such a great head coach. I mean, he offensively, defensively, special teams, how he handles the press. He does such a great job. But we're getting back to our roots. Sean McDermott and his defense, that aggressive style defense, punching teams in the face, I absolutely love it. I love it. Now, the other positions I want to get into here that were solidified for the Carolina Panthers from 2011 until Sean McDermott came to Buffalo. Really, the solidified position was cornerback on one side. They had Josh Norman. We have Trey White. And on that opposite corner, they did rotate things. Another thing I found interesting, too, was the safety position. They did rotate guys in and out of that safety position. It wasn't like they had a Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer all throughout those 5 years. They definitely rotated guys, as well as defensive end. Yes, they always rotated on that defensive line. We know that here in Buffalo. But again, there was players coming in, coming out. There was a lot of turnover at the defensive end position. One spot that was solidified, other than the linebacker spot, was defensive tackle. They had Starr, right? They had Dontari Poe for a while. These players were there for a long time and solidified. They were solidified for quite some time. Really find it interesting. The Buffalo Bills need to attack. We need to be aggressive here. Sean McDermott potentially calling plays is absolutely huge. Plus, Al Holcomb bringing his experience at the linebacker position there, knowing how he utilized Luke Kuechly and Shaq Thompson and all these guys. It's going to be huge for the Buffalo Bills defense. Offensively, the Buffalo Bills do have some concerns, right? I mean, Ken Dorsey, very limited experience, but one thing we can say is that this offense continues to try to dictate. We continue to enforce. When you sit back and you let opposing teams push you around, and then you sit back and you let opposing teams, you have to react to what the opposing team is doing. That's not a formula for success. And too often we saw that with the Bills. We would get into a position in the game where maybe we were being aggressive throughout the game, but when our backs were up against the wall, we didn't stay aggressive. So I think that is definitely going to be a philosophy change here. I do expect some more creative genius going on here, more scheming going on, more better player personnel. I mean, how many times did we see 3rd and long situations and we had, Daquan Jones out there, right? I thought we would see like Shaq Lawson at defensive tackle or Greg Rousseau at defensive tackle and Boogie Basham and all this stuff, and we just didn't see it. So there's a lot to improve on here. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please, it would really mean the world to me if you hit like, subscribe. The more people that hit like, the more Bills Mafia sees this. Not all is lost. I really think this is ultimately a good thing. Sean McDermott era starts now. The one concern I do have is people, if this doesn't work, people are going to start pointing fingers at Sean McDermott, right? So when we're talking about Sean McDermott calling the plays or Al Holcomb, it's going to be tough. I think it should be a mix. Of both. But if you guys enjoyed this, again, please hit like. I deeply appreciate it. Subscribe. Check you soon. Go Bills. Peace.